This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. More than 100 Wisconsin local governments have applied for some of $300 million in federal COVID stimulus money. The Flexible Facility Program aims to connect libraries and other public buildings to the internet. Awards will be announced by October. Republicans are asking voters to move the power to spend federal money in Wisconsin from the governor to the legislature. It's the GOP response to the billions that came to Wisconsin because of the pandemic. There are two referendum questions on statewide ballots August 13th. Republicans are urging yes votes. Democrats are urging no votes. Senator Tammy Baldwin is rejecting calls for President Biden to resign. She tells WISN-TV's Upfront that Biden is capable of finishing out his term.
You have full faith in the president's ability, his mental acuity, as we sit here today to lead the nation.
I think the administration and Biden is perfectly capable of finishing out the term.
The president himself.
The president himself.
Democratic Party delegates start voting this week to formally nominate Vice President Kamala Harris to be their nominee for president. A study committee is looking into possibly regulating artificial intelligence in Wisconsin. The goal is to ensure AI doesn't harm consumers or data. Look for public hearings around the state. People fishing in Wisconsin will soon be able to carry guns. The Department of Natural Resources overturned a ban after gun supporters sued the state. After the rule was reversed last week, both sides agreed to drop the lawsuit. You're likely hearing more about Project 2025. It's a sweeping far-right plan which calls for everything from replacing civil servants with political appointees to dismantling the Department of Education. David Nevins publishes The Fulcrum, which is analyzing Project 2025.
The cross-partisan approach that we believe in is, in some cases, the federal government can do certain things more effectively, in some cases not as effectively, and that's the discussion we need to have as a nation.
Donald Trump has denied knowing much about Project 2025, even though most of its authors served in his former administration. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. A Duluth official is speaking out in support of the controversial ordinance changes that would make camping on city property a misdemeanor. According to a Northern News Now report, president of the Downtown Duluth organization, Christy Stokes, says the ordinances will address the issues that are affecting quality of life in the downtown area and encourage more people to visit the area. Critics say the ordinances essentially criminalize homelessness. The city council will host another public meeting on Monday. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has announced that the invasive emerald ash borer has been found in Burnett County, meaning there are no counties left in the state uninfested by the beetle. DNR officials say they have confirmed a report of a possible infestation from June 13th in the town of Meenan. They worry the beetle will eventually kill more than 99% of the white, black, and green ash trees in the state. Cities like Eau Claire have taken to removing the infected ash trees on city property entirely. A Superior business was completely destroyed when a fire tore through the building on Thursday. According to the Superior Fire Department, crews responded to J&B Trucking on the 5400 block of Oaks Avenue around 11:30 on Thursday night. When they arrived, they found flames coming from the building and the fire caused the roof to collapse, forcing them to fight the fire from outside. Fire crews managed to keep the fire from spreading beyond the destroyed building, and nobody was reported injured. Douglas County officials are reminding area residents to practice safe driving after seeing an increase in fatal accidents. According to Douglas County Sheriff Matt Izzard, there have already been 6 crashes leading to 8 deaths in 2024, 3 of which happened in the city of Superior. Sheriff's office officials are also reminding residents to reconsider getting behind the wheel after drinking or taking any other mind-altering substances. They say speed and impairment have been common factors leading to the increase in fatal crashes. A Duluth woman was arrested this week for allegedly stealing hundreds of dollars worth of fuel. According to the Cass County Sheriff's Office, the woman allegedly stole about $260 worth of fuel from a retailer in Hackensack on Monday, a few hours after reports of a $300 fuel theft in Bacchus. Law enforcement authorities believe more fuel thefts in the northern Minnesota and Wisconsin areas may be connected to the suspect and are encouraging local retailers to report any further thefts. Two Duluth veterans organizations received sizable donations this week. According to a Northern News Now report, the American Legion Post 71 and VFW Post 137 split nearly $20,000 in donations from Super One. The grocery chain raised the money by asking their customers to round up their totals to the next dollar at 9 of their stores over the last couple of weeks, raising a grand total of $19,318. Super One presented the organizations with the donation at a check ceremony. St. Louis County officials have announced the road closure on Woodland Avenue in Duluth will be extended through August 10th. According to a WDIO report, the closure for through traffic between St. Paul Avenue and Northfield Street was originally planned to be lifted by the end of July. County officials now say that because of higher than normal rainfall, the milling and paving project was delayed and will now last a couple of weeks longer. Duluth drivers should continue to use the posted detour route through the area. The Duluth Police Department is searching for a suspect they believe set off a firework in the fountain outside City Hall on Thursday morning. According to law enforcement authorities, reports of an explosion near City Hall came in at around 7:30 a.m. on Thursday, and officials shortly thereafter determined that the explosion was a firework that had been set off in the fountain. Nobody was injured and the fountain was not damaged. Authorities shared a photo of the suspect and are looking for community help to identify him. And that's what you need to know. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
Jordan Love on his record-breaking contract. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NFL in Green Bay. The Packers held practice in pads as training camp enters its second week. Jordan Love completing a 47-yard pass to Christian Watson on his first day back after signing a contract making him the highest-paid quarterback in NFL history. Love told me the talks began back in May. I asked him what was it like when he didn't have a deal at the start of camp.
Yeah, it's definitely been the waiting game these past couple of days. Just trying to be patient, but knowing that it was going to get done here soon. But yeah, right after we got done, my agents FaceTimed me and gave me the news and broke to me. So it was a very special day hearing that and just going through the whole motions of, obviously getting a contract, being able to be here, and then just obviously being able to get back on the field with the guys. So it was definitely a very special day.
Baseball tonight, the Brewers host the Atlanta Braves. Colin Ray on the mound for Milwaukee. Devin Williams back as the closer. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Chicago Fire had a vacancy that is now filled. The show is adding a proven brand in Dermot Mulrooney, who will replace Eamon Walker as Battalion Chief Wallace Bowden. To be clear, Dermot Mulrooney is not Dylan McDermott. Walker left the show at the end of season 12. Mulrooney will play the new chief, Dom Pascal. The show will debut its 13th season, September 25th. If you're thinking about starting an OnlyFans account, don't rule out traumatizing your child by having them edit your photos. Sopranos actress Drea DiMatteo says her 13-year-old son, known as Blackjack, edits all her photos for OnlyFans. DiMatteo told former Soprano castmates Jamie Lynn Sigler and Robert Eiler on their Not Today Pal podcast that she had no choice but to start an OnlyFans account because being an anti-vaxxer cost her roles in Hollywood. If it came down to getting a vaccine or my kids seeing me naked, I would sprint to the pharmacy and ask for a double. If you're tired of Ryan Reynolds is a good guy stories, this won't help. Leslie Uggams, who was working as an actress before Reynolds was born, plays his sidekick in the new film Deadpool and Wolverine. The 81-year-old actress says Reynolds made her feel safe in the new high-octane Marvel flick. Uggams plays foul-mouthed Blind Al a long way from her Emmy-winning role of Kizzy in the miniseries Roots in 1977. Deadpool and Wolverine opened this past weekend in theaters. The lovable Natalie from Facts of Life, also known as Mindy Cohen, has a beef with former castmates. The New York Post reports that a Facts of Life revival was 86'd by one of the cast members. According to Cohen, TV legend Norman Lear approached the four actresses about reuniting for a reboot. The meetings took place over Zoom during COVID. Cohen said one of the actresses went behind the other's backs and tried to set up her own deal for her own show. The Post says Cohen did not specify which cast member it was. I really hope it wasn't Tootie. The good news for fans of The Boys is that there will be a season 5. The bad news is that it will be the last season, according to showrunner Eric Kripke. More not-so-great news for fans. Producers say the season will take 2 years to shoot and is still in the early stages of development. Producers of the Amazon Prime show say the soonest the new season can drop would be mid-2026. It appears things are finally on track for an I Am Legend sequel. Legendary screenwriter Akiva Goldsman told Deadline there will be good news soon. How can you have a sequel when the main character died in the original? Goldsman says they are sequelizing an alternative ending. When it comes to millions of dollars, Hollywood can be incredibly resourceful and creative. The first installment of the Will Smith film raked in over $500 million in 2007. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 7 to 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Scattered thunderstorms are possible this morning with sunshine by this afternoon. It's going to be warm and muggy with a high in the mid-80s today. Tonight, it'll be mostly clear, 66 tomorrow. Mostly sunny, slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm with highs tomorrow in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 69.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio.